All right, hey guys, I'm here at the Paverson Games booth at Gen Con, and I took a little time from Dave Beck here, who is working a very busy booth, but is taking a couple minutes to talk with us. And you are the man behind Paverson Games, right?
I am.
So I became a big fan of them with Distilled. I am not a big deck builder person, so I went into Distilled kind of hesitant, but I do like alcohol. So I was like, oh, that theme's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think what really caught my kind of eye with Paverson is your ability to really match theme with mechanics and make games that on paper are heavier, but are in reality kind of very intuitive when tied in with the theme. And I think you did that awesome with Distilled. Kind of what I've seen with Luthier is kind of similar, where you're taking, again, very advanced concepts, making it tied into theme. So you just recently announced your new game.
Yes, Ringyō. We are very excited about that. And thank you that you hit it dead on. That's exactly what we try and aim for with Paverson Games, is how we integrate theme and mechanics, how oftentimes the players will say, oh my gosh, that looks really complicated. But then after playing for a round, how we've been able to link what you would do in real life with what you're doing on the board, that theme and mechanic connection makes it a little bit easier for them. And so with Ringyō, this new one we announced, this is a game that is set in feudal Japan. It's about actually sustainable forestry. So very niche area, but we're very excited about it. There's actually some simultaneous worker placement going on, some bidding going on as well. Some really great opportunities for us to research the history of Japan. This was all based on a period in Japan where the government realized they were basically clear-cutting their entire country. And they needed to take a step back and figure out how to set up a program to make it more sustainable. So that's what we're trying to support here. The game was designed by Charlie McCarran, and the artwork is all going to be done by Kwanshai Moria.
I saw that. Even just I've seen the box so far, it's very that striking, almost like ethereal qualities art has. It's beautiful. So I understand still pretty early on, but in terms of kind of weight and complexity, where do you feel that fits in the kind of lineup so far?
Yeah, so oftentimes I'd say Distilled's about a 3 out of the 1 through 5 weight. Luthier is more 3.5, 3.75, so a little heavier. Ringyō is going to be around a 3, maybe a tad over, but not real, only because there's lots of decisions at once as you're doing your kind of simultaneous worker placement, that sometimes some people might feel a little bit overwhelmed in that and think it's a little heavier than it is. But just like you commented before, after the first round, people understand, oh, I understand. I placed one of my samurai. They're not samurai like we think of them, but samurai workers in these locations. I can do a number of different things, and that is the extent of the game. But there's so many different branching pathways, not to use a pun or anything, branching pathways that you can take and choices you can make at each intersection that we have of the game, because you place your workers at intersections to do your actions. That we're finding that players pick it up fairly easily, and the playtime is actually fairly quick as well.
Yeah, so I'm curious, so obviously you've done 3 pretty widely different themes with alcohol and for musical instruments, and now this. Well, what is your kind of thought process when you try to find a game and you're picking it up for theme-wise? What is your inspiration?
So people ask me that because they think just like, okay, whiskey, violins, okay, first off, that didn't really make too much sense, and now like historic Japan. And don't forget, I also have another game. It's about the late 80s yearbook.
Yes, that is
class of 89. So it's truly all over the place, right? But I don't know. This is probably not the best answer, but it's something that if I look at it, the theme resounds with me. I think about my players, my community, and I think about if they've either experienced some of those, like high school yearbooks, or the number of friends I have who I play with or I know that are musicians and also gamers, right? So I think about that as I'm assessing these games. So first off, if the theme is interesting to me and intriguing to me, okay, great. Second, I really think about my community that is really grown up around Distilled and around Luthier. They're expecting and okay with different themes, but they want those unique, interesting themes that maybe they haven't seen before. So I try to think about things that would really, connect with them as well.
You just hit that very nice balance of theming, mechanics kind of being married together, which is really, really nice. I am curious, so I'm a big solo gamer, and I think all your games so far have kind of supported solo play. I'm guessing is Ringyō also the plan is to also support solo play?
Yeah, that's one of the things we always really try and prioritize in our games, is having a solo game. Almost always we commission another designer to design that. So for Distilled, it was David Digby. So each one, usually we seek out a designer who would be bringing a new experience to the table, while also obviously staying in line with the game and the mechanics of the game as well. And not something that's just a simple, bot that you've seen maybe in a bunch of different games. It's something a little bit unique, and ideally something thematic that you would think that would be connecting that game. So for instance, with Luthier, you're actually competing against various guilds from around the world, various Luthier guilds. So really exciting about that. We haven't even really begun to scratch the surface of Ringyō yet, honestly. We're very close with the gameplay, but that's going to be what we do over the course of the next year, because we're actually not going to be crowdfunding Ringyō until about this time next year. So we have some time.
Absolutely,
well.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to show a little teaser here, at least at Gen Con.
Yep.
So my last question, if you had a dream theme and dream mechanic that you could have a game for, if you need a couple minutes, I
wouldn't tell you. I wouldn't tell you, because it's right here.
You're going to spoil it.
No, that's a good question. Well, I've always, so with Distilled, obviously a lot of it was in the current day, but some of it is historic too. History is also a major part of what I have interest in, whether that's very present history like 1989, or something like Luthier or Ringyō even further back in time. So I think probably it would be something that involves history. I think I would like to do something else that kind of looks to other areas of the world, now that we've done some things that branch the whole world kind of generically with Distilled. Luthier was very European, and of course Ringyō will be very Asia, because of Japan. And Class of '89 will be very American. I would like to continue to look at other areas around
narrow
the
down
world.
the continents.
Essentially.
And Antarctica.
Exactly. But also thinking about kind of historic elements within that. So I'm excited about where that might lead. So I don't really have anything off the top of my head right now.
Sure.
Distilled came to me one night, like out of nowhere. Luthier came to me kind of somewhat similar when I met and played with the co-designer I had as well with that. So those types of things I really leave to chance and leave to just happenstance when it happens. So who knows what will lead, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's some other areas of the world, which then maybe gives me the chance to maybe I have to go and research.
Gotta get some site visits. You got to see it. When I saw I think the code name for this for Ringyō was Americano. I was so sure it was going to be coffee based.
I know.
I was so certain.
So those are all of our before we announce the game's title, they're all cocktails in alphabetical order. So we hadn't really gotten very public yet with, let's see, Class of '89 was actually Bee's Knees, so B, but we hadn't really announced much of it yet, so it didn't really need to be, but internally we focused on that. So each one of the cocktails. So the next one will actually be D, because cocktails, Distilled cocktails, was C. And so our next one, when you see a cocktail named D, you'll know that that's going to be the next.
I will not read too much into it.
Yeah, do not read too much into it.
Good. Awesome. Well, thank you for the time, David, and really excited about Ringyō. If you're a fan of mid-weight to heavier Euro games that are just steeped in theme, you guys just do such an awesome job. And again, as a more thematic gamer, it is nice to see Euros that are not afraid to really dive headfirst into theme. So it is really cool to see.
Thank you.
So thank you again. Check out Ringyō. Again, we have a little bit of time until then, but be sure to follow along. And it looks beautiful so far, and can't wait to see what you're going to have at Gen Con next year.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. See ya.